Guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Henry and Caitlin. We're also on TikTok as well. This is our TikTok handle. Our Instagram is
Henry and Caitlin.
But today we want to share our story with those that have not been on the new followers that we have, so that you can get to know us. Yeah.
And how we met. Well, we met in our first year of university together at the University of Windsor in Canada. And we actually met at Frosh, like a first week party.
Yes, I'm Nigerian, she's Canadian. I'm Canadian now too, because I got my Canadian citizenship. But at that time I just been to Canada. I knew in Canada, and then I went to University of Windsor, and she was in school as well. So they had a Frosh week. You know, things were happening on campus. One or two things.
Layer.
At Nigeria, but one or two things were happening on campus. So we went to, every week, it's like, every day.
It was every day that first
something
week,
was happening, right?
So this is one of a dance they put on at night that we went to. And there's some discrepancies between my story and his story and how we actually met.
Well, we'll tell that one. I don't know whether I should tell that one now as part of it, or leave it for another, like the story.
Okay, sure. We'll leave the details for later. Yeah. But all you need to know is we met at a dance.
Yeah, in the university.
Yeah.
And then since then,
we've been inseparable.
Yeah. So we finished university, graduated university. We moved to Toronto.
You're not gonna say we started dating about a year after we actually met, though. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so we get his timeline in there. So we met, but a year later we actually started officially dating. And then yes, we finished university. You finished the year before I did, so you moved to Toronto, and then I moved to Toronto the following year in 2015.
Yeah. Although I was kind of in Toronto before going to Windsor.
Yes.
And then so after I was like, I like Toronto. Yes. So I was gonna go back to Toronto.
Yes. Whereas I had never lived in Toronto before. My hometown's about 3 hours north of Toronto, but I decided that I was gonna move to Toronto because Henry was there as well as my best friend.
You can see she's not original Toronto. She's not Torontonian. That's why she said Toronto. It's Toronto.
Yeah, I pronounce my syllables.
Toronto. Yeah. So
So we started our careers in Toronto. I'm a teacher, and where did you start? You started at the bank.
I was working in the banking. And she was still in school. And then she moved to Toronto eventually. So I was in the banking. Eventually kind of moved out of the banking industry. And then she is a teacher. And
I actually worked as an early childhood educator in daycares and in the school. And then you got into motivational speaking.
Yes, writing books. And then I went to schools and places to speak. And from there, we at some point decided that I was gonna move to Nigeria to do youth service.
Yeah.
Youth service, it's like, how do you explain that? For those that are Nigerians who know, but if you're not from Nigeria, then...
Okay, so as a non-Nigerian, I think it is like a government-mandated internship.
Yes.
So the government has a program that you have to do in Nigeria if you've graduated university for 1 year, and it's kind of like an internship where you go into some sort of business and you work, but you're not really getting paid for it. You get a little bit of money depending on the place, but anyways, so it's pretty much like a year's worth of internship if you've graduated university. But the most important thing to know about this youth service is that if you don't complete it, you can never work some sort of like government job in Nigeria. So even if like later on in your life, you want to work in a government job, if you haven't completed this youth service, you won't be considered. So that's why it was important for him to go back to do this, because we didn't want to just shut that door, if some opportunity came up later on.
If you were to move to Nigeria one day, whether you want to be a politician or something, the funny thing about this stuff, if you don't go to school at all, then you're fine.
You don't
can't
go to
get any job.
post-secondary.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you don't go to
Yes.
university or some sort of get some kind of HND or higher national diploma
Yeah.
or degree, then you're fine.
But if you
But if you actually go, then you have to do it.
yeah,
As long as you finish secondary school, you can still contest as a governor or all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You still
But
get
if
those
you've
jobs.
gone
But
to
when you actually do,
university-
then you
yeah.
it doesn't make sense. But
There's as any government organizational thing, there's some loopholes and there's some things that. But anyways, moral of the story is Henry moved in 2019, June of 2019, to start this National Youth Service. I was still in Toronto at the time and finishing my job. So we kind of had the discussion then that if he was going to stay more than a year in Nigeria, I was going to join him the following year because I was not ready to do another year of long distance, especially halfway across the world. So 2020 came around. Henry decided that he was going to stay in Nigeria and look for work after the youth service finished. So I said, okay, perfect. We moved in January of 2020. I started looking for jobs. I got hired. We were really excited, and COVID hit. COVID hit. So I still ended up moving to Nigeria in September of 2020. It was just between the break. It was literally right after the first wave when like borders were just opening up before that second wave hit. I literally was like in Nigeria 2 days after the borders opened. It was, that's a disaster in itself. But moral of the story, he was still in Nigeria. I moved to Nigeria, but we were living in separate cities. So the only job I could find was in Lagos, and he was living in Abuja, the capital. So we were still doing long distance, but at least we were in the same country.
Yep. And this is being in Nigeria. I was trying to find something in Nigeria was difficult, and
Because
then
of
so
COVID too.
COVID contributed, and so we jumped into social media. And, we decided,
This was in 20...
and I remember telling one of my friends, I'm like,
One?
I'm gonna start making content on TikTok. We're gonna start making money there. And then today, anytime today he sees me, he's like, I remember when you told me this.
This was
like,
October of 2021.
October 2020. Is it 21, right? Or
2020.
October 2020 or thereabout. I think it was about
hold
2020.
on.
I always mix them up, 2021, 2020. We should be 3 years now, this October, on TikTok and social media.
So it was 2020 then.
Yes. So October 2020, we started TikTok, and then in Nigeria, and it became big. So if you check out TikTok right here, HK Story, we are like 2.4 million followers, and I was kind of kept busy with that, and then from there we decided we're gonna leave Nigeria.
You're forgetting the most important part.
We're gonna leave Nigeria.
No.
But then before that, we're gonna get married.
No, you're doing this backwards.
No.
Hold up. Backtrack. We started social media, and in September, we started dating in September, around the beginning of September. Neither one of us know the exact date. We just say the beginning of September. And it had been 10 years in 2021, and Henry finally proposed. So, Henry proposed in September of 2021, and we started talking about, okay, my contract was ending at June of 2022, so we started talking about after we were engaged, get this storyline right, after we engaged, start talking about what's coming next, whether we're staying in Nigeria or whether we're finding somewhere else. Because Henry was still having a hard time finding work in Nigeria, we decided, okay, let's explore somewhere else, and we both were just wanting a totally new experience.
Yeah, Nigeria was becoming a bit, apart from the work, I just needed,
Nigeria
I was
is
kind of
lovely,
getting
but
tired.
stressful.
I'm like, okay, I need something different. I need a different experience.
At this point, you'd been home for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah. So after doing the youth service, and then, because I did youth service for,
2019.
so we can say 2019, 2020.
20, yeah.
So it made 2 years.
Yeah.
We decided to explore a different place.
Yeah. So we got...
but then we got married.
We got married in 2023.
2022.
2022. Oh my gosh, my years are so off. 2022 we got married. Nigeria views marriage as a religious aspect, so whether you're Muslim or Christian. So we had a religious ceremony, and then if you wanted to have your marriage like legal for other places, you have to get court married. It's not done at the same time in Nigeria. So, which is different than Canada, because Canada, you'd go and apply for the marriage license and you just take it to the day that you're going to have your wedding, and you sign it together. That's not
We'll
how
give that story in full.
Yeah,
We're gonna put all the weddings or whatever arrangement we did and kind of
Yeah.
give it as a story. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that.
But we got court married in February, and we got our white wedding, or our actual wedding date, was in April though. So that's the date we normally use, unless it's for like document wise.
Yeah.
But we say we got married in April.
Yeah. So we got married in April, and then we went on a 2 weeks or so honeymoon.
Oh yes, so we waited
To
for the
Rwanda.
school year to end, and so
then
in
from
July
there,
we did 2 weeks in Rwanda as our honeymoon, and then we literally moved to Qatar the week after,
yeah.
or 2 weeks after.
We decided we're gonna explore the Middle East somewhere else, and then we now thought about Middle East, and then from there, Qatar offered the opportunity, so
Yeah.
we decided to move here, Qatar,
And then
and then we got to Qatar, and then it was actually FIFA year because FIFA was happening in
Yes, but
Qatar.
we
Some
never
people actually thought that we were moving here
moved
because of
FIFA.
because of
but
FIFA. We said no,
we found out about FIFA after.
I never know that FIFA was happening here. So
Yeah.
we got here and then we found out about FIFA, and it was during that time that
It was just it was before this time. It was before this time.
it was just before
It
was
was
October.
before
FIFA
this
was
time.
September,
FIFA was November.
November. Yeah.
And we
So
got
it
pregnant
was
in
October.
October.
Yeah. So it's like the excitement of FIFA.
anyways. Yeah, so we were here a few months before we got pregnant, and we welcomed this little guy in July of 2023. So he's only
Yeah.
3 months now.
It's only 3 months now. You can see he's sleeping. If he's not sleeping, I've been giving you like
Yeah,
cute
that's
smiles.
okay. Come back and check out other videos.
So-
Sometimes he'll be awake, and you'll be able to see his cute little
Yeah,
smiles.
I'm gonna share more stories. So, but make sure that you follow and
That's
stay
the
up
thing I
to
was
date
gonna
with
say.
us.
Oh, the most important thing about this whole timeline is that even when we were dating, Henry always said, "Oh, because we dated for almost 10 years before we got engaged. By the time year 7 started rolling around, we used to get the question a lot, like, when are you guys gonna get engaged? When are you guys gonna get married? When are you guys gonna get married?" And Henry always stuck to this. Well, I'm gonna do everything quickly. I'm gonna propose, get married, and have a baby all within a year. And the funny part about this is that he was off by 1 month. So he proposed in September, we got married by April, and I was pregnant by the following October, or that October. So he was off by 1 month. 1 month he was off. So you stuck to your timeline, didn't you?
Yes. Right here is Mazda. We're gonna be sharing more how the parenting is going, and as new parents. So make sure you follow Henry and Caitlin. Just make sure you follow us.
Got any
on
questions?
TikTok right here.
Pop them
Any
down.
question, drop it.
in the
If you want to
comments.
hear anything, any story that you want to hear, leave it in the comment section.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mwah.